What's going on, guys? Just throwing together a quick update video. Figured some of you might appreciate an update video where I'm not blasting music and drinking a bottle of tequila. So this one's going to be pretty quick. I'm just going to be covering AMC pretty much. I'm not going to even touch on SPY. I'm going to touch on GameStop briefly, but really I'm just going to be talking about AMC. I'm going to keep it short. My head's in a fucking blender right now. So let's just jump into it. Macro on AMC, downtrend here from 2017 all the way until your squeeze January 2021, comparable to the downtrend we have here from the breakdown in the flag here from the June highs. This downtrend that you have here, you have your macro fractal break here, this gap down, and a sideways W pattern that plays out, comparably to the macro fractal break here and the sideways W that plays out. Before getting into the downtrend, again, the downtrend, you're just legging down more or less, just one step at a time. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 takes you into the blue. Both greens are more or less a W. The red's more or less a cup. The blue, same movement. Come down, bounce up, come all the way down, curl up towards the end on both sides before dropping to the flat portion here, comparably to this one here, where you have 3 touches on the bottom, and from that third touch, you form an uptrend, which breaks you out of the macro and a straight line into your squeeze. And on Friday, we finally got our macro break here. This boom candle here that took us up to 874, something like that, almost $9 on this after hours move, and then today pulled back. I want everyone to pay attention to what I'm saying in my videos from now on. 9:35 this morning, 5 minutes into open, I have people commenting on my video I made yesterday talking about Ant's going to disappear now. I was literally calling for a pullback. It was exactly what I expected. We retested today, bounced perfectly off of the channel. It looks perfect. It looks really good. So anyways, here's the macro perspective. Again, just showing the flat portion where you have 3 touches on the bottom comparable to this. I'm not even going to touch on the micro in this video. I'm just going to touch on the daily gaps because now we finally have a daily candle here, and this looks fucking amazing. Dragonfly Doji on the daily actually closed green. This looks very good. The gap up we were looking for. I've covered this multiple times. The flat portions of both cycles here, the January 2021 cycle leading up to the squeeze here on the left, and the current cycle on the right, all the gaps are in the exact same spots. They're labeled by the flags. So you have the 3 white flags here in the orange box. The boxes aren't here, but the orange box, you have the 3 gaps up, comparable to the 3 gaps up you have here, and this would have been your orange box. Then you have the purple here, you have the 2 green flags coming up on the right side, comparable to these right here, and then the white 3 gaps down here in red, 1, 2, 3 here. You get into your tri-peak, you get your second and third bottom there. So your tri-peak, your second and third bottom, you pop off of your third bottom here, again battling for the 20 EMA before you get this gap up here, this blue flag. And we finally got that gap as well now. So the gaps here are undeniably perfect. I will be looking for another gap. That's the next indicator of us really about to get into the squeeze, because this is a macro breakout. We're in the middle of the retest now, and I'm assuming this retest is going to take us at least half the week, if not the entire week, until Friday to finish this retest. The next gap we're looking for is this yellow flag here, this gap up, which will take us to the top. This will be our macro fractal break. So that's what we're looking for next, this yellow flag. So that's what we're going to be looking for now on the daily, is another gap up to the next range higher. From that, it should just be a straight line to our squeeze. So this looks really good. The daily EMAs, I've mentioned multiple times that the daily EMAs are perfect, and the next time the 20 crosses the 50 to the upside in our current cycle, we will be squeezing or in the middle of our squeeze. Really quickly going through this, the 20 EMA in white, 50 EMA in green. The 20 EMA is under the 50 the whole time. You cross it, come back underneath, and then cross it again slightly higher. You get this wave move where the 20 crosses, comes underneath, and then crosses higher. This would have been at the end of the purple. And over here, same thing, 20 is under the 50 the whole time. Cross there, come underneath, and then cross higher, and that would be at the end of the purple. Before crossing the 50 back to the downside, and then you cross one more time in the tri-peak, and then come underneath again. And same thing here, cross the 50 to the downside, cross in the tri-peak, and then come underneath again. And this is where we would have been prior to the gap off of your third bottom here. You bounce off your third bottom, you're battling for the 20 EMA before you get this gap here. And that's exactly what we had here, our third bottom battling for the 20 EMA, and we finally got the gap candle we were looking for. And with this gap candle, the 20 EMA has now curled up pretty much vertically, and will be crossing the 50 EMA either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm assuming it's going to cross tomorrow. Made up some ground here. So This is it, guys. This is the confirmation we were looking for. This is our macro break on AMC. Now we're just in the middle of the retest. I'll get into the tracking, but this looks really good. The EMAs are perfect. Daily gaps are perfect. I didn't throw together the RSI chart. It takes too much time. I really didn't feel like doing that. It's really not necessary. But that's that. Really quickly, actually, let me do this first because we now have a daily candle here. Spoke about this as well. This is the previous year of price action on AMC from the ape dividend here, August 2022. Very clearly curling to the upside here. I've mentioned multiple times, all three of our bottoms are labeled here, and they're all higher lows. So forming higher lows here, and as this descending resistance was meeting the support from our three bottoms, support and resistance was pinching very tight here. I mentioned we would be very sideways here until we found a gap up out of this range. We finally got the gap up. That's our breakout. This looks very good. There's now a gap on the daily at 440. We're not filling that gap. We came down to high fours today. I forget the low of the day, 480 or 490 or something like that. We are not filling this gap. Just for anyone curious, we will not be filling that gap. And again, very clearly curling to the upside here and our macro break. This looks fucking amazing, guys. Seriously. The tracking now really quickly. This would have been my tracking last week around Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, I was looking for this upside here, which would have been January 15th, this was Friday, January 15th. You close in the channel, and then that Monday you gap up, and that's what I was looking for here. I wasn't really looking for anything crazy on Friday. I just wanted to reclaim the channel. Instead, what happened was we were sideways all day, and then after hours, we got the move we were looking for. Not only did we get the move we were looking for, but we got a little bit extra. I didn't update that one. I think I have something here. This right here, where this would have been instead of getting January 15th on Friday, we just went completely flat and then got the whole move and the breakout. So this is where we are now in this iteration. This is the movement we want to see now. From the top, which the top is now in, it's very clear the top is in. That high $8 range was the top here. And this morning, that pullback you saw was this. And this is the retest on the top of the channel. You have this channel here from your third bottom, form this uptrend, you break below it, you reclaim it, and then you gap over it. Exact same thing here from your third bottom. You have this channel, break below it, and then instead of just reclaiming it on Friday and then gapping up Monday, we just got the full move after hours on Friday, and then today this pullback was our retest, and guess where we found the bounce with this? Right on top of the channel. So this would have been the high, and today's pullback took us down, and a perfect bounce off the channel. You wicked into it slightly, but a perfect bounce here, found a bounce, and then came back down again and formed a higher low here. As far as the tracking looks, to me, it looks like we're actually playing this out faster. It is possible we finish up this retest iteration before Friday. This move here, so here's your breakout. You come down for your retest, bouncing on top of the channel before you break this resistance to the upside. This would have been Thursday. Friday, you gap down in the morning to retest on this breakout and then confirm and bounce off. So this was on a Friday. It's very possible that we get this on Friday. It's also possible, because it looks to me like we're playing this out faster, that we get this confirmation sooner, maybe middle of the week. But for right now, I'm just going to lean towards we're going to get the confirmation on Friday. So this looks very good. Bounced right off the top of the channel. Came back down, formed a higher low. As far as the tracking looks, this looks like we would have came down to our first bottom here, bounced up, and then came back down and formed a higher low. The arrows are indicating so far what I believe to be the tracking. This looks very, very good. So now we're just going to be chopping in this range here, roughly $5 to $6.50-ish. Should be chopping in this range until we find a move higher than the Friday move after hours that we got. That move to 870 that we got after hours on Friday. We are now looking for a push higher than that, but first we will be chopping in this $5 to $6 range to establish support on top of the channel here. So don't expect anything crazy for now. We're going to be chopping here. We have to confirm our retest. This is a macro breakout, and coming down to retest on it. We will be chopping here for some time, maybe a few days, before confirming the retest, and then we will bounce higher. And then after this move here is the gap we're looking for next, the final gap, which will be taking us a straight line into our squeeze. So that's that. Really quickly, I can touch on GameStop. Again, GameStop and AMC are the same stock. The movement's overlaid here. I'm not going to bother going through this again, but the movement's here. The line in orange is GameStop. The candles are AMC. movement followed perfectly through. The January and June squeeze happened at the same time, and then the downtrend that you saw from that is the exact same movement, and this would have been GameStop's flat pattern here, which is very clearly curling to the upside, as AMC's was, and AMC just happened to get its macro break first. I am expecting GameStop to have its macro break this week. If not this week, then definitely the following week. But I'm expecting it to happen this week. And the reason I'm saying that is because you have your support meeting resistance here tomorrow. The support, very strong support in the bottom, very tough resistance up top, and getting into a very tight range here, battling back and forth, breaking above and below support and resistance here, and actually closed above resistance once again today. I have a little marker here if anyone's interested or in free money. August 18th, $30 calls on GameStop. Not financial advice. I think it's a very good idea. And this is just zoomed in a little bit more now, where last week we were just GameStop was just poking through resistance here, couldn't quite get the break. On Friday, actually closed below support after hours, got that pop that AMC got, not as drastic as AMC, but broke back above resistance, closed above it, and then again today, just battling back and forth and closed above resistance again. I'm assuming that GameStop is going to be getting that move to the upside very soon. That will be GameStop's macro break as well. So things are synced up pretty nicely here, and more likely than not, this move that you're going to see on GameStop to the next range to 30 plus will be a gap up, as you saw with AMC. It will be a gap up to 30 plus, and it'll probably be on some bullshit news. You know how that goes. So that's pretty much it for the video. Everything looks great. Listen to what I'm saying in my videos before you start talking shit to me in my comments. I was calling for a pullback in the video I made yesterday. Just pay attention to what I'm saying. So everything looks absolutely perfect. Perfect retest today. And now we're going to be chopping around this range until the retest confirms, and then we will get a move higher. Again, we're looking for this gap here, this yellow gap. This is your breakout iteration. You come down to retest, confirm your retest, bounce off, and then gap up, macro fractal break here, and a straight line into your squeeze. So that's what we're looking for now. Might be chopping in this range here for the week, and then potentially Friday or Monday, this Friday or the following Monday, get another gap up to the next range higher, and that should just be taking us a straight line to our squeeze. And again, the 20 EMA is about to cross the 50 on the daily, which I've mentioned in my previous 5 videos. The next time we see that, we're either in the middle of our squeeze or about to squeeze. So this looks very, very good, guys. And once again, your macro break on AMC right here. Beautiful candle on the daily. Absolutely love the way this looks. Everything looks great. To anyone who stopped by in the live today, hope you had a good time. I definitely had a good time, and I will not be going live again this week, barring some crazy movement, but I will be live next week. So everyone have a good night. I'll catch you in the next one. More than likely, it will be an update video tomorrow.